This is the LG Optimus 3D Max, and it is the successor to the LG Optimus 3D smartphone that we had seen sometime in the middle of last year. It's a mid-range smartphone, but the real add-on is the 3D bit, which is why the price tag also kind of charges a premium for the 3D experience. Assuming that the market price of this phone would be around 32 or even let's say 32,500, this thing is essentially closing in on the territory of, let's say, the HTC One X or even the Samsung Galaxy S3. Now, why someone would buy this is probably only because they really want 3D in a phone. Because otherwise, if you look at the spec sheet and the performance, which you will as we do the detailed review on the website, is you will notice this one is competing against a phone which would ideally be priced around 27,000-28,000 rupees in the market. One glance at the LG Optimus 3D Max and you can't really tell it's a 3D phone. Now, if you look at it from the front, it's just like any other traditional smartphone. There's the 4.3-inch display. There's a very thin bezel on two sides, slightly thicker on the top and the bottom because of the logo here, the earpiece, the camera, and here are 4 touch-sensitive keys. Flipping it over to one side, a slightly different design from what conventionally we see with volume rockers. Different buttons, different keys for volume up and volume down. Now what is this? This is the most interesting bit. The micro USB port has been given a very neat cover. Slide it on one side, it's a little hard but good thing. Slide it on one side, there's the port. Once you're done charging or connecting it to the PC, whatever, you can close it and the port is safe. Absolutely, very neat. On this spine is the dedicated key to switch between 2D and 3D modes. It's marked here 3D. You long press this when you're using the interface and it switches to the 3D mode. We'll show you that later. Turning the phone back, this has a plastic finish at the back. We would have liked a better finish because quite frankly the price tag would have justified that, but plastic finish, a slightly shiny look to it, black in color, can't really find too much fault with it. This is the 3D camera here. The only little niggle is, for a phone which is this expensive, why does LG insist on having a battery opening mechanism which is reminiscent of a cheap phone? By cheap, I mean inexpensive. Let me show you what I'm talking about. There's no slide mechanism here, slide to unlock, nothing of that sort. You put your nail here and then you just hope. So this thing opens up. Now what is the difference between this and a 5,000 rupee phone? Literally nothing. I would expect LG to do a little better next time around. The good thing is you can access the battery in this phone. It's not locked away like in a lot of other phones. There's a SIM card slot. It's a full SIM card slot. No need to cut your SIM card to put it into this. And an expandable memory slot. This is the interface, essentially a skin over the Android OS in the phone. We really like this one because what LG has basically managed to do is walk the middle path between something as visually enticing as an HTC Sense and something as minimalistic and functional as, let's say, the Timescape UI on the Sony phones. This one kind of walks the middle path without really affecting performance. How we've judged that, and even you can do it at home, is install Launcher Pro on this and use that as the default home screen. You will not see any change in performance if you're using this and when you're using that. However, you will see a huge change in performance in the same scenario, doing the same thing if you're using, let's say, an HTC Sense. So it's basically got the visual pull similar to that, but doesn't affect performance. Well done LG on that one. Let me run you through the home screens here. Typical home screen interface, nothing different about it. Multiple screens. What disappoints me is that this phone has come out of the box with Android 2.3. I cannot understand why, since ICS has been around for quite some time and since it's an expensive phone, it's a high-end phone, this really deserved ICS out of the box. We have even checked for software updates till now, no ICS update as of yet. What I like about the interface, LG always did that. They did it with the Optimus 2X, they did it with the Optimus 3D, they did it with the Optimus Black, and now they're doing it with this phone, is they have a separate section. In this case, they have a separate section for 3D applications also. So in case you download any other 3D apps, they'll show up here. You have your standard applications here. And whatever apps you download show up in a separate section. So basically there's no clutter. You don't have to search between 50 applications to find what you want. You probably will know where you will find immediately. Nicely thought out thing. The most important and the most critical bit about this phone, why anyone would buy it, is probably the 3D thing. Let us show you how the 3D performance is on this display. It's the glassless 3D version, let me add. The video that we're showing you here is essentially a 2D video. Now the phone has the capability of up-converting any 2D video into 3D. Now how you do this is, we've paused the video here so that we can show you how we do it. There's this little key here. It's currently 2D. 2D is bigger in size, which means this video is currently playing in 2D mode. Press it again, 3D shifts up, and you can see the display has changed to 3D. Now, we'll let you enjoy this video and we'll give you our opinion on it later.
What you're about to see is top secret. Do not tell my mother. Any of these look like the symbols you saw? Where'd you get these? Archaeologists found these unexplained markings in ancient ruins all over the world.
So this is what essentially an up-converted 2D to 3D video looks like on this phone. Not really sure how much of a 3D effect you would have seen through the video, but what we can say is, for a glassless 3D bit, this thing does quite okay. However, there are times when you still feel the eye strain. I particularly did after watching 10 or 15 minutes of 3D content on this. Your eyes will still feel the strain. So don't think that without glasses 3D basically means stress-free 3D. No, that's not the case. Secondly, the big question is, how much of 3D will you actually be using on a phone with a screen about 4.3 inches in size? Because ideally 3D is meant to be viewed on screens bigger than 32 or around, let's say, 40 inches for comfortable viewing. So this one essentially, it's a novelty feature which you might use a few times, but I don't think there's any everyday scenario in which you will be watching 3D on this phone.